Oh, I'm drooling, man. Guys, I gotta finish the series about the predictions of 2021 for all the signs. I apologize that I have not been consistent, but I'm still in battle with the Scorpion. And I'm fixing my own stuff and getting my house in order, getting my own. No, I'm going through it. I'm going through it. And on top of that, I gotta do my readings. I keep my appointments with you guys. Boom, boom, boom. So understand that, please, my deepest and my sincerest apologize for the lack of consistency. But I'm in battle. I'm going through my second Saturn return. And he's stripping. He's breaking away. He's tearing. Saturn has two faces at the Saturn return. He takes away and then he gives. He rewards through Jupiter. And that's how they work together. That's why the Saturn Jupiter conjunction at 0 degrees Aquarius is so important. Because you have the God of justice and the devil coming together for a reconciliation and a meeting of the minds. Okay? This is going to affect people's Saturn returns at age 30 or age 54 through 56. I'm 53. I'm 1 year away. But you all see, it's hitting. It's coming. Things are being removed from my life. My relationship is over. I now have to go somewhere else. Buy a new place. My company's changing. There's a good thing and there's bad things going on. There are changes happening all over. Some of them are great. Some of them are not so great. Some of them are exhilarating. And some of them are downright depressing and lonely and boring. It's a mixed bag. The Jamaicans call it a giddy bag. You have to take it all. And I mentioned this as listen, I'm hanging in there. I don't even have time to look pretty. And don't forget, I'm still writing the stuff for the school and getting that ready for when we open for the spring semester, less than a month away. So there's a lot going on, Thank God that I have this delicious watermelon martini. My second drink of the day, because I'm not drinking anymore, I'm smoking like that. I can't. I got too much to do. An empire. Can't do it anymore. So this is my second drink. It is this delicious watermelon, watermelon liqueur with, Grey Goose, a little bit of apple juice, and a little bit of apricot liqueur. Ooh, it's delicious. Here's to you. I ran out of weed. I haven't had time to go out and buy any, I just been too busy. So we're going to do without the split. At least for right now, the drink will suffice. Cheers. Listen, I got into the series today because January 6th, which is tomorrow, we celebrate the three kings. The three kings, which in Christianity, they herald the birth of Jesus. But if you look at the Persian, Phoenician, Macedonian side of the story, these three magi's were astrologers that predicted the star that will herald the birth of the new age. And this brings us to Cancer. Cancer, at 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Cancer, you are here to go through polar opposites. The Cancer, the polarity of Cancer is Capricorn. And here in Capricorn with Aquarius, we got that conjunction. For Cancer, in the mundane chart, it falls in the 7th house. So there is a lot of changes happening to Cancer this year, 2021. And unfortunately, Cancer, that's why it took me a day or two to get back, because I had to do the research to discuss Cancer. Cancer is more this aspect of all the 12 signs of the zodiac. Cancer, you might have a difficult time. Yeah. In the mundane chart, the Saturn Aquarius conjunction in Aquarius, which is really Capricorn, sits on the cusp of the 7th and the 8th house. Here, we see two dichotomies happening at the same time. Cancer. For this year, you are going to go through some very painful adjustments. You have to do a lot of adjustments, Cancer. Saturn and Jupiter are opposing Cancer in Capricorn Aquarius in the 7th and 8th house cusp. So here's what's going to happen, Cancer. If you are in a relationship that is no good and is stagnant and has not moved forward, and there it has not been a reconciliation, then you are going to experience a forceful separation from your partner. Sooner or later down the cycle, especially April, when the heavens have some very powerful squares and oppositions and in conjunction to the sun and the moon in Leo, which repeats itself in April. We have it now. It will repeat itself in April. So here we have a cycle occurring, Cancer. If you have a bad relationship with your partner, Saturn might get rid of him. If it's a marriage, you might go through a breakup or a separation or a divorce. If you are the problem, where you don't learn, you don't see, you don't assimilate, and you don't reflect on past actions and deeds, then Saturn is going to tear you a new one, Cancer. Saturn will see to it that you recalibrate and reorient yourself towards taking care of yourself first. Cancer has a knack of putting others before itself. Here, there's a limit. Whether it's your husband or boyfriend, if they're not stepping up to the plate, Saturn will remove them. This is the opposition of Saturn to Cancer from the 7th house. It also rules the 8th house, the mundane 8th house and the 7th house cusp, dealing with other people's money, other people's finances. You might have someone in your life that is taking advantage of you, taking you for your money, or trying to destroy you in some way. This is not a very good aspect. And with the combination of the vibration of Mars and Leo at the number 5 for the year, means that you are going to be under intense emotional turmoil concerning making a decision to break certain patterns from your life, to break certain outmoded conditions that should no longer be a part of you. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, but here it is opposing Cancer. So here, Jupiter is trying to protect you by preventing certain things to occur to you. New experiences that might bring you more pain than the previous cycle you're in. So here we have Saturn and Jupiter working towards providing you a better relationship with other people. The seventh house rules relationships. It's a relative house, along with the third house and the 11th house. These are the air houses. And Cancer needs to learn for this year of 2021 to be more emotionally tempered. Be more logical about how you feel the way you feel. Get to the bottom of what makes you feel the way you feel. And then make a decision to prolong that which brings you those feelings, or eliminate that which brings you feelings that you don't want to deal with, or that are no longer useful to you. So this year is going to be a year of turmoil en route to reflection. The turmoil is not based on any punishment or any karmic cause and effect on your part, Cancer. No. The consequences of why you may be going through certain difficulties for 2021 is because of patterns, set patterns that you put in place way before, which has been dysfunctional. Always concerning somebody else. Either you gave your power away to somebody else and they took over and they decided what was best for you instead of you deciding that for yourself. You surrendered power to another human being to determine what should be right for you, when that should be determined by yourself. Because Cancer can be very yielding and pleasing, and it can spell disaster if you give that to the wrong person. So here we have Saturn and Jupiter in conjunction opposing the ascendant, in which we have the mundane chart in Cancer, to be able to kind of protect Cancer from her own choices should she make the wrong ones. It's like you have a safety net, Cancer. You have a safety net. So just in case you make a mistake, as you most likely will do, no different than all of us, then you will have the gods to help you bounce back. The challenges for you will occur through the concepts of the relationships. But the seventh house doesn't also rule relationships and marriage. It also rules business and business partnership. Now, you might be in business instead of having a child and having a home and a family. The Cancer energy can express itself in business or in maternity, raising children, raising a family, managing a husband. That's very business-like, very entrepreneurial. The seventh house is the house of contracts and legalities. So this year, Cancer, you might be faced with some tough legalities and contracts and issues that deal with you might needing to visit a courtroom. If you are a divorcee with children and there's a child custody battle, this also will be a very significant year. For this will be the deciding point whether you're going to get your children or not, if you're in that type of situation. With this position of Cancer, there are many varieties of how this can play itself out. But the main thing that we can say that's consistent is that the year 2021 will be a year of flux. Up and down. Remember, the moon is never constant. It's always changing. It has 28 phases and 4 quarters. So we're looking at 32 different phases of the moon. That accents the complexity of Cancer. If you want to know why Cancer is so complex and so difficult to figure out, it's because of its quixotic emotional nature, which is like a prism, and it has different sides. And not one side is ever consistent. So this might be the year where there might be a lot of confusion as to how to act, Cancer. Understand that what you need to do to break out of certain outmoded patterns might require tremendous effort on your part, because these are set patterns and conditions that you put in place long before this cycle. The thing is that now it no longer works for you. At some point, the crab abandons its shell. A lot of people think that the crab doesn't abandon its shell. It does, and gets another one or creates another one. It does. We don't see this, but that's true of the crab. And so this analogy fits us very well, because this might be the year, Cancer, where you might have to abandon the crab, your home, and find a new one. And that is major for you. Huge for you. It might be life and death for you to give up your shell. The crab, if you know anything about the crab does leave its shell. But it took many scientists and biologists decades to figure this out about the crab. The crab leaves its shell and creates another shell. It happens once or maybe twice in the lifetime of a crab. So the Cancer person has to, at one point, realize that at some point in the cycle, before it dies, that it has to abandon its shell and create a new one. This Saturn-Jupiter conjunction opposing Cancer in the mundane chart might be that time where you might have to abandon your shell, because it no longer works for you. It's no longer useful to you, and you have to recreate a new one, which awards us some risks. Just like the crab, they go to the ocean to mate, exactly where they were procreating. And a lot of them die going to the ocean to procreate. They get ran over by cars, they get eaten by rodents and stray animals in the fields. Very few make it back to the ocean. Like the salmon that goes upstream, going back to the place where it spawned and then dies. These are cycles of nature. And no sign in the zodiac deals with rhythm and cycles of nature like Cancer. For the moon is the tick-tock clock that sets the timing mechanism for our evolution and the solar system. That we have to attribute to the sign of Cancer, cardinal water, active water, ruled by the moon, a most demonic place, which explains the complexity and the dark Lilith nature of Cancer. So, for 2021, Cancer, be tough, be strong, and be resolute. And keep the fear down to a minimum. Remember that in the midst of crisis, God don't give us more than we can bear. And this year, Cancer, this will help you. It's good for you. It flexes your muscles. People think that you're weak, Cancer, that you're so watery and emotional and boo-hoo. There could not be more wrong. Cancer is one of the most strongest signs. Not the strongest, but it's cardinal. So it's important and it's strong. And it has its place in our evolution. Cancer, all of you Cancerians for the year 2021, face the year with courage, conviction, and a certain resolve that there's going to be losses, but also certain gains. And if a relationship is no good, Cancer, ghost them. And develop a relationship with you. Develop a relationship with you. Cancer. Guys, please donate www.paypal.me/The People's Astrologer or call for a reading or book for one. Guys, thank you. As now we proceed to Leo.